Hey everyone, welcome to Make Your Peace, a 4YE podcast about Wynonna Earp. I'm Catherine Meushaw,
And I'm Lara Hayes.
and today we'll be discussing Season 2, Episode 1, Steel Bars and Stone Walls. And like we've been doing, we will be having a spoiler-free discussion and a spoiler-filled one, so if you're new to the show and don't want to be spoiled, don't worry, we'll have a warning. And for those of you who are confused because you remember us doing Season 2, we started on episode 4, so we're trying to catch up still, and we still got a couple more episodes to go. So, with that, what was this episode about?
Dolls calls in a favor, but one may not be enough. Meanwhile, Wynonna rides to the rescue, and an unexpected new ally joins the fray.
I would argue that, two, but...
I would too.
Alrighty, so this was a pretty big episode coming off of the Season 1 finale. So where do you want to start? You want to start with kind of going over what we picked up from, or where we picked up, or sorry, how dare I?
I was gonna say, I was like, let me just get the title out of the way real fast.
Where is my head at?
It's all good.
I know, I just want to jump right into it.
I like that, though. I like that zest. I'm going to knock this out real quick. So the episode title comes from the song of the same name by the Stanley Brothers, and it was later covered by Bob Dylan. I think that's how I knew the song. I knew the Bob Dylan cover.
Alrighty. Thank you. And
Yeah.
Now, how would you like to start this?
Okay, so I think right off the bat, we find out that Waverly did not pull a gun on her sister. She pulled a gun on that demon that popped up right behind Doc and Wynonna, and thank goodness for that peace of mind. So right away, we know that she was not trying to murder her sister, which makes her the first Earp sister not trying to murder her sister.
Pretty much.
Is it too soon?
I must say no. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we kind of didn't have to, they picked up right after finale left off. That way we kind of started running. Even though we didn't lose even though we didn't lose Wynonna or Doc, we did lose a valuable member of the team. We lost Doc's hat.
Right.
Although it did give us one of the best running gags. With him continuing to tip his hat or trying to tip his hat and everything. It was my favorite running gag.
Mine too, especially when he breaks into the prison and everything and he reaches for it and it's not there and he's like, oh man, I really do miss that.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time he went to grab it, I laughed. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it was my favorite thing. Well, one of. This episode's pretty good, so.
That was pretty good.
All the things, because we got to meet a couple of new people and got some crazy crap happening and just a hot mess. So yeah, but to kind of cover some of the finale stuff, Dolls was able to call in a favor to get that Tomahawk strike canceled, which is pretty good. That would have been terrible to bomb Purgatory. They kind of showed Wynonna dealing with Willow's death a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. We did get a little, well, at least she got a moment to grieve. I wouldn't necessarily say closure, because I think that will probably take her some time.
Yeah.
But she did get a moment to herself at the end of it where she was able to grieve for her sister.
And it's such a great scene, that end scene where she's just, sitting in Willow's old bedroom on the bed and picking up that stuffed animal and just crying. It's such an amazing scene. So, and I like that they gave that to her, that minute to kind of be vulnerable and grieve and everything. So, we got a glimpse at what the goo might be doing to Waverly, but we're still not sure.
Yeah, I think the one, what was it? The one thing that we know for sure, right? So Waverly's black eyes scare the eyeless brute demons with nothing but teeth in their skulls. That's one thing that I can say about it. We get to see that in the prison. And we do have that moment between her and Doc where, he's trying to check in with her and she's like, I feel good. I feel strong. So we got that too, which is a little bit of a hint.
Yeah. I mean, Nicole told her she tasted different.
That is one of my favorite quotes, and I think it's the gayest thing I've ever heard. I'm pretty sure.
It's up there.
It's one of the gayest things.
Definitely up there. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I just remember watching for the first time. It's like, oh damn, like that's how we're gonna find out that there's something wrong. So yeah, we're still not quite sure. We saw her eyes go black a few times, and nobody's seen it yet. We don't know if they will. And it looked like she was gonna, like, black-eyed Waverly was gonna go and, like, kill Nicole for a second. That fake out was the worst.
Yeah, when she had that axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was very upsetting. Especially because I want to say that was one of the scenes where we had, like, it was a commercial break, and during the commercial break, Emily Andros actually tweeted out, like, thank you, Kat Burrell, for being on our show, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was that, yes.
I think, because I want to say she's done it a few times with different characters and stuff like that, but yeah, I want to say she did that during that scene. So it was kind of one of those things where you're like, wait, what? No. What do you mean? Yeah, I enjoyed those moments, like, just from on a rewatch, because it's like, oh, you almost got me there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just wanted to kind of, like, touch on that stuff, considering it's the stuff that was really left hanging after the finale. So, but with that, we have so much to talk about. So where do you want to go?
Well, can we deal with the fact that this episode starts with Rachel Scarsden as Eliza, like, in her underwear fighting, and then is immediately followed with, like, a way hot, like, makeout session? Like, can every episode start this beautifully?
I'd be content with that.
So would I. Like, and I was just so happy I love Rachel. I mean, she's everybody's favorite Valkyrie. She will always be Tamsin to me. I know that I have Tamsin in my notes here somewhere. I know it's going to happen. But yeah, it was so awesome.
I think the craziest thing about that was because we didn't know she was guest starring until she popped up in the episode. Or it might have been, I don't remember what popped up first, her name's in the credit or her face popping up. But I think one of the best things about it, like, after the trailer aired, apparently there were some fans who saw a side view. Like, you could see the tiniest bit of, like, her face or something. You could not make out that it was her, but apparently some fans were like, hey, that's Rachel Scarsden.
See?
Like,
don't
off
mess
of the
with
trailer.
Fandom. Yeah.
I know. But it's like, even I'm like, holy crap, how did they, like, because I heard about it afterwards, and I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, I liked her character, R.I.P. Eliza.
Gone too soon.
No kidding. But, I mean, there were very few people there that, like, they couldn't have shot Doc, they couldn't have shot Waverly, you know, it was Jeremy or Eliza, one of them had to go. Do we know his name yet? I just thought about that. Yeah, he gets named, doesn't he?
Yeah, because they're, like, you know, standing around before that contract, and they're like, who's this? Yeah. He's like, I'm Jeremy.
Yeah, he does. I totally spaced. I literally just watched this episode, like, 6 hours ago. What is wrong with me? Oh, I guess, I mean, most of the episode is about them getting Black Badge back, but because he gets, you know, they're taking him off to that black site.
Mm-hmm. I really like that first interaction that we have between Wynonna and Eliza, because it's funny to see that, like, subtle shift in Wynonna. Like, she's here. Yeah, she's here. She's in a town where she can't escape the shadow of her past. Everybody knows her. Everybody knows her entire family. And she's the Earp heir. She's got a destiny. And Eliza is just completely unimpressed. No idea who she is. No clue about the curse. And Wynonna's, like, a little put out by it, which is, it's cool. It's cool to see her taking a little bit of pride in her name and her role and who she is.
And I mean, also with, you know, whatever feelings she has for dolls, it complicates things with this random woman in his room. Mm-hmm. And I love that we get, like, halfway through the episode, and Eliza's just like, yeah, I was messing with you. I know exactly who you are, and I have my own hotel room. I love that.
I also really enjoyed Doc's little "how complicated" comment when Wynonna is
I
introducing
know.
Eliza to the team. Like it just undercuts any like love triangle tension that might be brewing because he's poking fun at it and calling it out, and it kind of brings you back to the fact that everyone in the room is on the same side, and it helps to just sort of diffuse all of that. Just him kind of making fun of it.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I like that too. It's just I like Eliza's introduction, like all over the place when she was, that scene when they're going over their plan to infiltrate Black Badge was just another good scene. Just in general, you get some good moments between Waverly and Wynonna.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole trying to kind of be like, "Hey, I'm a member of the team now" and stuff like that, but still I kind of felt bad for Nicole the whole episode.
Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the spoiler section, but I do have something to say about it.
Yeah, I think I've got stuff there too. I actually have a spoiler section this time, surprisingly.
Also, like throwaway moment. I laugh every time I watch Nedley's ridiculous explanation of Bobo's mass poisoning, and that hilarious, Batman discussion after where he's like defending the worst Batman movie of all time. Like that's just, I really do love that.
Okay, that Batman movie does have some redeemable qualities.
What?
I mean,
like I saw it as a kid and I liked it as a kid too.
I mean, I haven't seen it in years, let me be clear. But, I mean, still, Alicia Silverstone did not upset me too much. I'm going to get so many people
be careful.
getting mad at me for saying that because I watched it when I was a kid. I haven't watched it in a good, 15 years. Leave me alone.
She was still riding that Clueless high.
I have never actually seen that movie, by the way.
What?
I know.
Oh my god. All right, fine.
It's been a while since you got a chance to yell at me about something, so
that. Okay.
So you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm fired from the podcast now.
we got some work to do. All right.
I should be making a list of every time we have this discussion because it happens a lot.
Yeah, we should be writing this down.
Yeah. I also wasn't that mad about Uma Thurman, and I'm, it's one of those moments where it's like, yes, I'm defending the women, and yes, I was a baby gay, so there's probably a reason for that. It's like, oh, wait a minute. No, I mean, there are, it's not a fabulous Batman movie by any means, but anyway, I'm gonna get off this before
I agree with that. Yeah.
Let me not dig my grave more.
Don't. I don't know how to save you from this.
I don't know how to save myself. I'm gonna have somebody coming at me. I just know it. It's gonna come where I least expect it. Somebody's gonna be like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. No, I like that moment with Nedley, and then Wynonna walks in, and it's just like, he's like, "Well, the town already doesn't like you." So, thanks, Nedley. I also appreciate how he kept Dolls' mug.
I thought that was funny too. The big X on it.
Mm-hmm. Because they took everything. Well, I kept his mug. The priorities. Nedley can't be perfect in every episode. He can just be pretty great in every episode, though.
Yeah. He's always Nedley.
Yeah.
Eliza gives us a lot of information about dolls that we didn't have. And I really appreciate that. Like she actually uses the word devolve in talking to Doc about Dolls' serum. And, in that moment, I suppose, the bigger reveal is that Wynonna, is finding this out about Dolls. But that's such an interesting word choice, on her part. And when we compare it to what Dolls has already told us, that he's been taking the serum since he was a kid and that it keeps parts of him dead and other parts of him alive, it makes me wonder whether or not whatever is the serum doing something to him or is it activating something inside of him?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, because again, we still don't know why he was recruited by Black Badge, or why he came into their possession or under their care as a child. We don't know. So yeah, was it some sort of experiment with the serum, or were they trying to control something inside of him that was there all along? But anyway, devolve is a really cool word to use because it commonly means to degenerate, right? But
Yeah.
it also means like to be split or to be split into. So that was pretty, yeah, I mean, I kind of jumped on that, but
Yeah, and also, I mean, we find out that Dolls isn't the only one. I mean, Eliza
yes.
tells them that she's there because she wants to find out what she and Dolls are, like what BBD did to them. So we don't know how many people are out there like that. So yeah, it's we get an interesting piece of the puzzle for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah, child abduction, orphan experiments, gene splicing, super soldiers, I harnessing harnessing a latent power in these children and bringing it to the forefront via serum. We don't know the answer to any of that, but like you said, yeah, we do know now that Dolls is not the only one. And another kind of a neat thing was, we saw him before kind of getting the shakes and everything without his
Hmm.
serum. He hadn't gone very long without it. So, now we got to see him like really sweating it out. He loses his temper. He's trying to kill Lucado. Doc kind of talks him down from it and stuff. So we see like, sort of a level of withdrawal that we haven't seen, and we see violence.
Yeah, it's an interesting shift
Mm-hmm.
that we get. I mean, it's those withdrawal symptoms are kind of intense because I think they say it's like 30 hours since his last dose. So
Yeah.
and he doesn't have much left. He has the tiniest amount that he uses at the end of the episode when he escapes. Near the end of the episode when he escapes, when he drips it in his eye. So I'm not sure about the science there, but
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just like quickest way to the brain or something. I have no idea.
it's a good thing he didn't miss though.
Truth. Yeah.
That would have been bad. It's like I don't know about anybody else, but when I try to put eye drops in, it's like I can't judge it right.
50-50 shot at best. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm like, oops, that's too high, that's too low. It's not back far. It's a whole ordeal. So, not great. Yeah, that trip to the Black Badge spot was definitely interesting
Mm-hmm.
because we also we met a higher up, Moody,
Yes.
and he had our heroes sign a contract in blood.
Yeah, and it's Detective
So
Art
that's not good.
Bell.
Yes, Art.
Yeah, it's Art from Orphan Black. And we love him for like just a second. Like he shows up on screen. It's like, oh, it's Art from Orphan Black. And then he shoots Tamsin and it's gone. All the happiness to see him is just gone in an instant.
Yeah, I mean he shoots her, and then it's like, okay, he's dead to me now.
Yeah, exactly. But he does, yeah, back to your very good point, he is somebody who has major BBD clout. He steamrolls right over Lucado.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a double-edged sword here because he did save their lives,
Yeah, he did.
but he also shot Eliza.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that contract is seems like it could be a problem. I like how with the signing them in blood, he's just like, it's how it's done and it's how it's always been done. It's like, okay, that doesn't mean you can't change it. Pens exist.
So true. Also, it's a blood contract, man. It's like the goo. Like, you don't touch the glue and you don't sign a blood contract.
No, it's like rule number one. And you kind of feel bad for Jeremy, who he was just having an average day at work, and he just gets roped in with this group of people and signing a blood contract, Poor guy.
He's got it. The entire prison break-in is so much fun. Like, I love that they use that awful smell to like sort of usher them through the checkpoint. And I am trash for Dom using a slightly more posh version of her actual accent. Like, I really hope that that's not like the last time that happens. I don't care what Nicole thinks. It's beautiful. But all of the interactions with Jeremy were just delightful.
Yeah, I love the accent because it's like the second I heard it, I think a couple of people were like, "Oh, Dom's doing her regular accent," and I was like, "Nope, that's not her accent." So it's like,
No.
there was layers to that performance. But no, I love the Nicole's telling her that it was the worst British accent she'd ever heard. Also, I mean, the outfit she's wearing when she comes at, like, her outfit for the Scotland Yard inspector
Yeah.
or scientist, whatever. I mean, that's a pretty solid outfit.
I love the glasses.
Yeah, it's all just pretty fabulous. I enjoyed that a lot.
And her trying to knock Jeremy out, but it not working. And it just like she just hits him in the head and wounds him, and then releases a monster. Like, just like the worst possible way all of that could have gone.
And I mean, this is after her trying to flirt with him.
Yeah,
and it
trying
not
to
working.
seduce him. Yeah.
So it's just altogether hilarious. But yeah, there's a lot of really great moments there in the Black Badge site, on the Black Badge site. I do like how we got to see Lucado and Chinese food again.
Like,
when she comes up to talk to dolls, it's like, man, who did you steal that from this time? Like, and Doc finally got to bring his dynamite.
Yes, he did. I mean, if he had to be without his hat, at least he had his dynamite.
Although he still didn't get to see it go boom.
He didn't.
I mean, he didn't even get the fun of setting it off. Poor Doc. Just the short end of the stick all around.
So close, but so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think something you brought up, too, in our spoiler section of the finale of episode 13 was Lucado's backstory with regard to Kandahar and everything. That comes up again in this episode. And I know that we're repeating ourselves, you guys, but for anybody who couldn't listen to the spoiler section, so she tells Dolls that she doesn't like him because he survived Kandahar when others didn't. And in this episode, we find out that her husband died there rather heroically so that Dolls could save someone else who had a better chance at living.
Yeah, so, it's a very personal vendetta for Lucado.
Absolutely.
And, like, despite the fact, of course, she's not gonna listen to Dolls, who's like, well, he was really injured and he told me to leave him behind. Like, of course, that's not an acceptable answer, and she just gets upset and is like, well, he liked you, and it's like, I'm sure Dolls liked him, but he had to do what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it should be interesting to see. Lucado did get in some deal of trouble in this episode, so should be interesting to see if anything happens with that.
Yeah. I think it says a lot about the quality of these characters that I didn't find it patronizing for Doc to charge in and be the one that saves Dolls and, like, face the fact that there may not be a Dolls left to save. Like, on so many shows, your woman lead can get usurped by the big, strong man on her team, Mm-hmm. But this show never makes me feel this way or that way. Right. And I truly believed that Doc considers Dolls a friend and considered it a kindness to remove the possibility that Wynonna would have to shoot someone else she cares about so soon after her sister. And I think that just speaks volumes. It was about compassion. Yeah. It wasn't about bravado. And if this show can do that with a character that's based on one of the most famous gunslingers that ever lived, any show can do that. There's no excuse.
No, I agree. I actually really love that moment, because it's very much you've dealt with so much lately. Like, this is something I can do to help you out. This is something I can do to kind of take away some of
your burden,
this weight on your shoulders. Yeah. Because, like, Wynonna was the only one who could take care of Willow, period. But she's not the only one who can take care of Dolls, if need be. Yeah, I thought it was a very important thing. And it was a nice thing about, like, kind of, sometimes you do have to kind of sit back and let other people, like, help you out.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, she didn't necessarily sit back. She very much was not a fan. But still, I really liked that moment. And it let her go say Waverly, so.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wins, right?
Mm-hmm. Except for the demon that was shot in the face.
Yeah, he didn't win.
But I like that moment where Doc want to rescue Dolls. I mean, I don't love Dolls. Like, we see Dolls whisper something to him once he does rescue him, and, like, we just hear, "Can you please tell her?" And of course, when Wynonna asks, "Hey, did the dolls tell you to tell me anything or anything? Doc's just like, nope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Don't be rude, Doc. But you have to. He's still Doc Holliday, so you can't expect too much from him. That sounded terrible. It just means that he's still got some character flaws.
Who doesn't?
I love Doc. Everybody knows I love Doc.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was my point. Oh, one of the things with like the blood contract thing, that scene, Moody gets this attitude like, oh, well, if you cooperate, I'll tell you how to break this curse, because there's no way you can get rid of these revenants. It'll take you years. I mean, it's not like there's hundreds of them. There's 62 of them. She took out a fair amount of them. I mean, she took out 15 in less than a year, I believe. So it's reasonable with the help that she has. She can do it. And they're still in the triangle. But yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting tactic, but that's another. Black Badge is
shady.
Got a lot more interesting today in this episode,
Yeah, so shady.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to make sure that we talk about, because it was something that I actually started thinking more about after I was done watching the episode, and I was like, oh, what? So this will be our first theory thing of season 2, I guess, or first shift back into wild theories after yours. It's last week or last episode. It's my turn now. But, the episode ends with dolls returning Wynonna's necklace, which brings us full circle, taking us right back to the very first episode. And we've talked a lot about that necklace, and that the eye-shaped beads on it protect the wearer from evil, from hexes, from curses. And I can't help but wonder, because Wynonna wasn't wearing it when she signed that blood contract, and I wonder if they wanted to kind of make that point, because I think in the first episode she also loses it before the curse kind of washes over her, and she actually downs her first revenant. Or, shoots her first revenant or whatever. And then in this episode, she signs the blood contract after she's already misplaced the necklace. So I kind of wonder, if she'd had it on, would things have kind of shaken out differently? Would she still have signed that blood contract? Was the necklace actually protecting her for something? Yeah, or from something? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sorry, I was quiet because I was very intently listening. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, because would she have been able to sign it?
Yeah,
if that's what that necklace is doing.
She signs this contract right after she loses her necklace, and the curse kind of hits her right after she's lost her necklace in the first episode. So it's just I don't know. It's just something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the initial curse too. That just happened with the strike of midnight. On her birthday. So that was less of,
Right, yeah. She was going to be 27 no matter what, yeah.
But yeah, that's a really interesting thought about the contract, though. I like it.
Thank you.
Food for thought. Because, there's definitely something interesting about the necklace. Interesting enough, especially, that Dolls stopped to pick it up on his way out. So, there's something about it.
Yeah. And maybe something about how or when she loses it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, damn, I want to know more.
Me too.
Maybe we'll get our answers someday.
Season 3.
Or 4, or 5.
At some point.
Maybe, eventually. One of the things about the Black Badge site too is we see it a couple of times. We see it when they first come in. It's where they take off their suits. So we see it later when Doc and Dolls separate. And then at the end, when, BBD gets kind of blown up a little bit, and there's that crate, that crate just chilling there, and we have no idea what's in it. Just, that hand with the silver jewelry on it that scratches the dynamite. But there's a couple of interesting things about that crate, outside of the fact that there was something in it.
Yeah, outside of the living thing, yeah.
Yeah. There are markings on the side of the crate that look kind of similar to the runes on Peacemaker.
I did not notice that.
I think it took a couple of watches, or maybe somebody pointing it out for me too. But yeah, And also the customs slip on it is signed by Robert Swain. It looks like Robert Swain. That's how it looks.
Uh-huh.
I think it's supposed to be Spain, but yeah, that's how
What?
it's written out, or like Swan. Yeah, it looks like it's a misspelling if that's what it's supposed to be. If it's supposed to be good old Bobo Del Rey, but yeah, because you get a zoom in when the hand reaches out to do the dynamite, you get a good look at that custom slip.
Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna have to look at that again.
Yeah, it also says it's coming from like London and going to New York, but yeah, so there's some interesting things about the crate. It could also be blind and it could be spelled correctly. It was like, so if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, I'm sure. So yeah, I mean, and that was kind of that warehouse. I mean, if they've got a big crate like that, who knows what else Black Badge has? I mean, we know at one point they had things like the Ark of the Covenant. So, good lord, what other random things does Black Badge have that just went poof?
Right? We're really bad at keeping track of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really no help when somebody brings in dynamite. It kind of causes a lot of problems. Let's see, and then I think, amusingly enough, I didn't have a lot of like really lengthy discussion things, but I guess we should talk a little bit about like Nicole, because I kind of felt for Nicole this episode a little bit.
Yeah, I did too.
You know, she's all excited in the finale to be like part of the team, and she gets deputized, and you know, she doesn't get to join everybody. Like, you know, she's the getaway driver, and then when asked if there's anybody else with you, you know, they tell, oh no, nope. And like on one hand, it's like, yes, Waverly was protecting Nicole, but Nicole's still like feeling a certain way about it. She's like, still don't get to be part of the group.
Yeah, she was too. She was immediately sidelined this episode.
Yeah, and I love Nicole and I hate that. But also, like, on another note, why was she driving her patrol car? That is not discreet at all.
Right? So conspicuous.
I don't understand. Like, Waverly's Jeep would have been better than the damn patrol car. It still would have been kind of weird and out of place, but not as out of place as the Purgatory patrol car.
You're right. Yep.
Like, I don't know how they even got, like, where were they? I don't understand where she was parked. It's not like she could have gotten in the parking garage of this super secret facility without raising suspicion.
Word.
It's a plot hole I'm having some trouble with. It really is.
Take a deep breath. Let it out. Let it go.
It's going. Oh, I guess there was a way hot moment that we kind of glossed over, but we didn't really address. We should probably talk about just the lovely moment we got with Nicole and Waverly. I feel like a bad lesbian if we don't mention the underboob. We got.
Oh, good point.
I feel like somebody's going to yell at us about that if we don't.
It's such an oversight. Yeah. Wow. You know, I feel like it happened too quick, you know? Like there's Tamsin in her underwear and she's fighting Wynonna, and then there's this kiss, and then you taste different. It was just, there was too much happening.
But I believe when I had to leave it out of my recap, and then the recap posted, it got mentioned, so I was like, I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Of course. Of course it did.
I don't want to forget to do that as I kind of go down my list of the random crap I still have left to talk about. Because yes, that is on my list. Oh, and the Earp Sisters moments. We get some good Earp Sisters scenes in this episode.
Yeah, we did. I love when they check in with each other, too.
Me too. And they needed the check-in. And I like how at the end, you know, Wynonna's like, my only job is to protect my baby sister, and I love the Earp Sisters so much. They're the best.
They are. They really are.
Yeah. I love all the moments we get with them. Let's see. So, do you have anything major, minor, random that you want to mention before we go to quotes?
No, that necklace theory was kind of rounded it out for me.
It's a good theory.
Thanks.
I'm kind of really interested to learn more about the necklace. I say it all the time, but alrighty. Well, with that, what do you got for quotes?
I liked Waverly's innocent little, wait, what's a Juan Carlo?
Yeah. I forget about that one. I like when the demon takes Doc's hat and my hat, it's eating my hat. And she's just like, and Waverly's just like, because that's the takeaway here.
Right.
Like, this hat, Waverly, have some compassion.
And Wynonna, saying that like she doesn't expect a parade for saving Purgatory, but she'd settle for a smoothie and one sad stripper. That was pretty good.
Yeah. That was a good one. And we did mention Nedley's line about like you may be the hero that Purgatory deserves, you're just not the one it needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then she calls him a monster for the Uma Thurman line. But
I also really loved Waverly. There are still 62 revenants out there trying to kill me, and Waverly's, "Oh, you did math."
That's on my list.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what my brother says to me when I manage simple math. So
yeah, sometimes math is a struggle. I have had to use my calculator for embarrassingly easy math.
Amen. Same here.
See, 24 24 hours ago you shot our sister. Yeah, it sucked. She sucked. It's like, oh, Waverly, sometimes you lack tact.
There's also Plan B here, good for eliminating all unwanted problems quickly. Yeah, sorry,
Yes!
That was inappropriate.
And then the second Plan B joke. The second one, too. The Plan B when you don't have a choice and you gotta get rid of... Yeah, I hear it now. Yeah. I loved both of them so much.
Like, can we have more contraceptive humor, please? Like, I loved that, and I loved Wynonna's, "Why are you giving me full Middleton?"
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think we already talked about you have amazing taste in underwear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, kind of, yeah.
Kind of. I mean, it was, yes, you have amazing taste in underwear when she gets bested by Eliza. I do have to say, like, the kind of not weird, but the kind of, like, flirty thing between Wynonna and Eliza made me really happy throughout the episode as well.
Oh, yeah, hard same.
When Doc, and with that scene with Doc and Eliza, and she's just like, there's a lot more where that came from text, and I'm from Georgia, ma'am, and then Wynonna's just like, your head looks naked.
Your head looks
like, completely taking him down a peg.
I also love I'm British, not elderly.
Yeah. And Nicole saying, I just want to make sure you're okay, that deep down you're still in my Waverly.
Yeah, that was sweet. Also like a nice, like, never mind.
No, go on.
No. Spoiler section.
Okay. I like Doc's. How do you like my mustache now? I mean, you don't come for the mustache.
Yeah. I really liked, "Hey, Lucato, you look pissed. Someone messed with your shoulder pads?"
Yeah. Oh, Wynonna's line about, I brought my magic gun to remind you all that I'm the goddamn Earp heir and the only one who can send Wyatt's revenants back to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I just like her moments like that. Oh, and we even get, like, kind of a RuPaul's Drag Race thing in here, too.
What?
Like, Wynonna has a line that says, not today, Satan.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
A line that thanks
from the amazing Bianca Del Rio.
I love her so much. But that line blew up on the internet. Because it was so fabulous. Oh my god. We haven't had a Buffy reference yet. Did we make a Drag Race reference before we made a Buffy reference?
Okay, I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to fix this right now. So, you remember earlier how I was talking about, like, it's funny that we see that, like, subtle shift in Wynonna, that she's, like, amazed that Eliza doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
That is sort of a Buffy moment, because Buffy has that moment with, like, Riley, right? He has no idea what the Slayer is, and here the initiative is out, like, fighting demons, and she's like, Slayer, look it up. So it's kind of, there's our parallel. There we go.
When you started that, my mind went to a completely different moment. I went to the season 5 finale moment where she's fighting a vampire in an alley who doesn't know who she is.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Line, like, I haven't met one who doesn't know me in a while.
Yeah. Good, yeah. Absolutely.
See, I like that. I like how you started on a completely different... There we go. We fixed it. We have fixed it. All is right with the Podler.
We covered it twice.
Yes. That's the longest I think we've gone without a Buffy reference in a long time.
You might be right about that, yeah.
I think I am. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's a lot of podcasting to try to remember. I'm not going to try to pretend I can do that. I can't. Do you have any other quotes on your list?
No, that was it.
Okay. So, is that... I guess that's everything before we wrap up this section of the podcast then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alrighty, so I think that's going to wrap us up for the spoiler-free section. And after, our usual notes and stuff like that and our commercial, we'll start on our spoiler-filled. Thank you, everybody, for listening and sharing and all that stuff. As we've been mentioning, we'll try to get on iTunes so that it makes it easier to share and to get new listeners. But we do appreciate everybody sharing and trying to get the word out for us in the meantime, because I know it's hard to share podcasts without being able to say, like, oh, you can find it on, iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or wherever. So we know that. So we really appreciate those of you who do listen and who do share. So with that, Lara, where can they find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at RS Mayfair.
You can find me on Twitter at Meushaw. That's at CMEUSHAW. And you can find the podcast on Twitter at 4YE_MYP podcast. I had to think it for a second. And you can find 4YE on Twitter at 4_Y_E if you want to check out the site that Lara and I write for. We also can search our names and find this individual stuff. So we've got a lot of Wynonna Earp stuff. And since we're in season 2, I can plug my recaps. So I did recap all of season 2, and you can find those. I think we have a Wynonna Earp tab on the site, probably, where those are at. Otherwise, there should be a link on the site if you access that, and on YouTube for the recap, unless I forget to put it in. So just message me if you can't find it or if it's not there, and I will put it in, and I will also give you the link to those if you're interested. So gotta plug my stuff. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and run this lovely commercial we have from the folks at Earp Fiction Edition before we start in on our spoiler-filled discussion. So hopefully you'll stick it around. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Make Your Peace podcast is the Wynonna Earp fan podcast that digs deep into every episode, not only providing comprehensive recaps, but also delving into character relationships and motivations. Hosts Catherine and Laura take their time exploring all the nooks and crannies of each action-packed episode, puzzling over and speculating on moments you may have missed. If you enjoy a good discussion of your favorite sci-fi show, then this podcast is definitely for you. You can find Make Your Peace podcast on Twitter at 4YE_MYP podcast, where you will find links to their latest episodes. Make Your Peace podcast. Dig a little deeper.
Alrighty. So thank you to those who have stuck around for our spoiler-filled discussion of the episode. And as per usual, because I say this all the time, this will be spoilers for Season 2. And any speculation we have for Season 3, I don't think we have any this time around, but I gotta say it. So if you're new and haven't seen the whole series or season or whatever, just be warned, this is spoilers. So if you get spoiled, that's your own fault for not turning it off. So thank you to everybody who stuck around to listen. Unless none of you did, we're just talking to ourselves. So
Always a possibility.
always, but I'm okay with it. So we got a few little seeds for the season in this episode. Where did you want to start?
I'm going to start with Gooverly because of course I am, right?
Yeah, I really should have known that you were going to do that.
You know that Gooverly is my jam, Catherine. But anyway, we start to see.
I really like the way you said
Oh, thank you. But we start to see Waverly getting a little more aggressive. Mm-hmm. Even with Nicole, just in terms of going after what she wants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She tells Doc that she feels strong. We talked about that earlier. And we see but what's cool is when she says that to Doc, we kind of see some of the real Waverly shine through in that moment. Because I feel like this is kind of a slow onset. I feel like she kind of goes in and out of it, right? And, it's clear in that moment that she doesn't really know what's happening to her. And she doesn't really understand why she feels so strong or why she feels different. And Nicole says as much. Even in the barn, we can see that Nicole has her reservations. Like, she wants to make sure Waverly is her Waverly. So she knows, like, right away that something just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I like how that's kind of, I like how they kind of deal with that really early on.
Yeah, they lean into it really slowly, really gradually.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we're not really sure. We find out later, and I think this was definitely, like, Emily clarified in an interview or something like that, where it's like, yeah, when she's all dark, like black-eyed, that's Miction, but, you know, pretty much any other time she is, like, Waverly, but it's still, you get a feel that something is off, like, and, you know, it's a little scary to see her go, like, the black eyes and not knowing what's happening. But I like how they started off with this, with just the little things, and even like you said, like bringing Nicole in and everything. It's good. I really, I know we talk about it, Gooverly, and was gone too soon. Such a delight.
Gone too soon. Yeah, so much fun.
It really is. In a creepy situation with the demon. Yeah, so I should have known you were going to start with Gooverly because, you know, we both love her. But yeah, it's
my girl.
Yes, she is. But yeah, that scene with the demon is also kind of alarming. Devourer of souls, and Gooverly just
she
stares
just
it away.
Stares him down. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And then, oh, I was looking. Did the cage is a black badge? This was a random spoilery note that was like a small one. They have some sort of spider demon in one of the cages. And you don't get a fabulous look at it, and I didn't bother rewinding to check it out, but I thought that was kind of interesting considering, you know, we get them in episode 3?
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 this season.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of those moments where I'm like,
Look at that, yeah.
Yeah, the crate, too, because, I mean, that was such a big thing, you know, it's a crate full of widows, all because of Doc Holliday's dynamite. Poor Beth and Mercedes lost their faces just because of Doc Holliday and his dynamite.
Poor girls. They were fun too.
Yeah. But I literally took a few watches to actually spy the thing on the crate too. The customs form. It's kind of weird. I want to know more about that part of it, but I don't think we will. We know they got put in the crate. We don't really know where the crate traveled, I don't think. That might be another thing we might have found out. Did we find out? No.
I don't think so. I think it's funny, like you know, like you call like all of this like teeny tiny like writing on the crate, and like the whole time I was watching this episode, I was just like, Melody's not pregnant, is she? Like, she doesn't look pregnant. Like, I was like, no wonder I was blindsided. Like, I don't see it. There were like maybe like 2 shots total where you could tell that she had any kind of baby bump at all. So like, I mean, it's funny, like watching it now and like knowing and being like, well, no wonder like everybody was like so surprised. Like I genuinely couldn't, like, I could barely tell even knowing that she was.
Yeah, I mean, and she was like 7 months pregnant filming this. And like,
no kidding.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like, yeah, the shirts are a little bit better, and I think her belt might have been sitting a little bit lower, but still, like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did that too. I was like, kind of, you know, keeping an extra eye out, like,
right,
particular things, like during the fight with Eliza and stuff like that. It's just like, damn, man, like they did a good job of hiding that.
They really did, yeah.
Until they needed the reveal. I do enjoy, and I believe we've talked about it before, but since it did happen in this episode, I really enjoy the little, how they're starting with the little breadcrumbs in this episode with Wynonna's hot flash.
Yeah, I liked that.
Hot during that meeting, yeah. Also, the way Wynonna, talking about like not noticing Wynonna's pregnant, there's a way Wynonna like walks or runs in one scene where you're like knowing that Melanie's pregnant, you're like, oh, okay. Like, cause you know, she's like 7-8 months pregnant or something like that. So it's like, you do kind of get into, I don't want to call it a waddle because that feels really wrong, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it was a run. She kind of runs differently or something. So yeah.
Yeah. Like she's just holding her body different. Yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed that, no, like on a rewatch, knowing that she's pregnant too. I don't. No, I have watched this episode like a couple of times, knowing that I was trying to think about it, but yeah, I've watched it with other people. So yeah, it's kind of mind blowing, and I love how worried everybody was, and it's like nobody had any idea, nobody was speculating until they dropped that bomb
Nope.
in episode 5. So it's crazy. I also really like switching gears a little bit, as one does.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned Waverly trying to flirt with Jeremy, but that's like so much better knowing that, like, because Rosita tries it later on in the season, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gay," and it's like, okay.
That clicking sound is the sound of me removing that from my list because I had it too. It is, yeah, it's so much funnier. And, you know, she only gets him on board, like saving the day, by dangling Doc Holliday and dolls in front of him. And then he's kind of like, well, why didn't you say something? And God, I love Jeremy.
Yeah, I do too. I really do love him. And I know I mentioned this. No, I'll save it. Never mind. I'll save it for another discussion.
Okay.
I will stay quiet about it. So what else did you have on your list?
You know, going back to what you were saying earlier about Nicole, like, struggling with being left out of the contract and everything.
Yeah.
While I completely understand Waverly's impulse to protect Nicole and not tell BBD about her, she has already been deputized by dolls, and she was, you know, like, made the getaway driver and like stuff like that. But she's picked her side, and this is something that Nicole does later and in a very different way that really upsets Waverly, you know, taking a choice away or hiding the truth or kind of overstepping to protect someone else.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of...
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And honestly, I love Nicole, and I love her as part of the team, and I love that she gets to know. But honestly, as she finds out, she is better in her position as a cop to help the people of Purgatory that way than to be involved in the Black Badge stuff. It's just, you know, it's still, your heart kind of hurts a little bit watching her feeling left out.
And I feel what you're saying too, but again, like, she was jazzed to join the Black Badge division.
Oh, I know.
You know, she was, so it's just kind of like, I mean, yeah, she's in a better place to help those people maybe, but I just, you know, it's like, well, okay, but what does Nicole want?
Yeah. And it also leaves her in a really weird position with whatever happens with that blood contract that we still have no idea what's going to happen. Like, that leaves her in a weird position because it's like the rest of the family signed that contract. And we know Dolls has a wonky agreement with them. So, I mean, Nicole's the only one who doesn't.
And this could be huge. You know, she could save the day in season 3 because she's not beholden to anybody. You know, she didn't sign the contract. Like, we don't know. I'm not saying that this isn't all going to work out wonderfully in Nicole's favor. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that if the tables were turned and she had done that to Waverly would have had a really big problem with it.
Uh-huh. Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
No, and I agree, but also, I mean, I think they're in some way the two are hard to compare with how the information, like how stuff was withheld or how, you know, stuff like that affected another person. Like, it's
true. Yeah. And I did say she did it in a very different way. Like, it was,
no, I know.
Yeah.
I just like to make things clear before somebody comes at you. But no, I agree. It is kind of, it's an interesting thing compared to what happens later in the season as well. So.
And like, my last thing is just like, man, what is BBD? Like, I've been asking this question for like 26 episodes now, and it's just like, what is it? What do they want? What do they do? Who is Moody to them? Why does he have the power to fully induct Wynonna? How is he going to help her end the Earp curse any faster? Why is that what he opens with? I just want to know. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. I have questions. And the only other thing I had on my list, just a fun note, the song that they use at the end of this episode is also the one that they use at the end of the season 2 finale.
Oh, cool.
So.
Good catch there. Yeah, that's nice.
I believe. I could be really wrong, and I could have just said that and been really, really wrong.
Oh,
but
you said it with
I
such
think I am.
conviction, too.
Yeah, but I say things like that, and then I go back on it because I worry about being incorrect, and then a lot of times I'm not. So
Just hedging your bets.
Yeah, because I am really bad with music, but I'm like very certain that that's the one that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
But that was everything I had on my list.
Same.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I guess, and slowly but surely, we are closing the gap for episodes we need to record still to catch up. So,
Yeah.
yay!
Woo! Go team.
Yep. So, thank you everybody who stuck around to listen to our spoiler discussion. Next week we are talking about, or next time, I shouldn't say next week. I can't guarantee any regular updating. I'm not gonna lie. Next time, we're gonna be talking about episode 2. So thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, everybody.